Well, welcome back. I'm here doing Just Chatting with Joe with Dina, my lovely girlfriend. If you don't know about us, we're both Christians and we're a couple, right? And, we both have things we love to talk about when it comes to Christianity, living for Christ, and all these different things. And hopefully we can talk about something that may be interesting to y'all or something that you deal with. And I believe she had the idea for today. I know she did. But it was about talking, living with people that don't live the same life as you, for Christ. And, kind of just being a Christian and living along with those people, right? I think I can note from she's an athlete, right? I'm an athlete. This is something that gets talked about a lot for us because we're supposed to abide with people that are living amongst the faith, right? The reality is we shouldn't be intertwining ourselves. Christ tells us, Paul talks about often in the books and the letters, how really kind of don't intermingle in a sense, it's like, bad people create bad habits or, it tells us that the evil corrupts the good, basically. And so we're supposed to, try and be intertwined with other Christians, people of faith. But I know for us as athletes, it's hard because you have a team, you have all these different things, you have classmates.
A lot of different personalities all the time. And
these things can clash, and it's really being a Christian and, living for Christ first, but also being able to sadly be intertwined into the world. Now, what do you want to say about it? Because I know it was something you wanted to talk about. So,
I think recently I've been grateful enough to be in a lot of situations, good and bad. Usually I just kind of get pulled into them. Or like, I don't know what to do. Can you help? I know you'll have a Christian aspect on it, or a better aspect than I don't like her. This isn't right. So that's definitely been like a blessing recently, but also a little bit of a struggle for me because I then don't have other people to lean on, I feel like sometimes, because I'm like giving what I have, but I don't receive the same things back. So it's a little bit of a disconnect because I can give them a Christian view and like how the Lord would want us to
handle the situation.
Yeah, tackle a situation. But then when something happens to me or like I'm involved in something, I don't often look to the same people, the girls on my team, or like people that I'm around most of the time for advice because they're not living the same life as me. So that's been a little bit difficult because they're my best friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with them 24/7, other than right now. So I think just finding the good and bad in those, like, the people that aren't walking that same path.
Yeah.
And, like, once they do start to come along, like, when can I, hey, sprinkle in, I need a little assistance.
I think, that's a great point because you're talking about how you give out and you're not getting anything back from them necessarily, which is great because that's what we're supposed to do. Right. We're supposed to be servants until the day we die.
Yeah.
We're supposed to give out. I think the greatest reminder for that aspect for me that helps me is, right, I can't expect people to fill my cup, right? I have to have Christ fill my cup in a sense. And one thing I like to really think about is people think about, I think they get this perspective of you're taking your cup and you're pouring it.
Right.
For me, my whole perspective is if I focus so much on Christ, mine overflows.
Right, into yours.
And then I don't have to think about pouring mine out. It just kind of flows into theirs.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I've been blessed to feel full from Christ because I've been intertwined in this and try to be a person that people can go to. Oftentimes last year I had plenty of teammates ask me questions about certain things, how to handle this. And I'll just be straight up, I'm like, well, Christian point of view.
Right.
I got to do this. I'm like, I can understand where your anger is. I can understand where your thought is. But this is what it tells me to do. It's how Christ would do it. It's how you would handle it. And I have to abide in that.
Yeah. I don't know that I feel like my cup's not getting filled. But more...
You just can't go to those same people that come to you.
Yeah, I'm usually like, hey, Joe.
Yeah.
How do I go about this now because I'm in a rut?
And I mean, I think it's about finding people. Because I've been blessed with my father. If I really am in a tough situation, I can go there. Or we have a pastor here that we know.
Yeah.
You can go to his wife.
Yeah.
But I've always been big on kind of figuring it out on my own in a sense. And also because of Christ, I kind of just try and not look anywhere else.
Right.
Right. My dad has it written in my Bible that this is the truth. Read it every day and your life will be fulfilled, or whatever. You'll find blessings, all these different things. And so for me, in that instance, it's like, even when I, need an answer from Christ or need an answer from God, and I'm reading and I'm, I kind of just have faith that he will provide, whether it's today, tomorrow, or a week, whatever it may be.
Right.
You can see that he puts us through tests or allows tests, like with Job, right? And to allow that growth from suffering, from pain, maybe separation from people, or maybe that's what he's showing you sometimes, how, either one, he wants you to lean to him more, right? Because maybe you're, seeking from other people.
Right.
Right. But again, I always kind of take that viewpoint for me, especially in our relationship. Like, I don't want to go to you.
Yeah.
I love you, and I know you're there, but I want to be able to stand firm, so I'm there for you.
Right.
Also, because out of our viewpoints on the world, I'm one that's very, I'm very firm in the sense of, like, life's life. I can only focus on what I can handle. You're getting better.
Yeah, getting better.
But it's just, I think that's also because I'm blessed to be able to remind you on those things.
Yeah, for sure.
Can get hard, but I don't know. I'm a very out there thinker in the sense of, like, if something bad's happening, my whole thought process is like, there's someone starving, there's someone dying, there's wars and all this, and I'm like, how bad could it really be?
That's true.
And so, like, I really set to myself, but it's hard with, like, I think my hardest problem with living with other people in the world, right, is, I'm not going to get anything spiritually from them.
Yeah.
I know that. But I know I have a duty, and to lead by example, to live for Christ.
And that's where I think I've been blessed, is, like, I have had multiple situations now where people are like, I know you'll have a better aspect and, like, outlook on it than I could. Can you help me in this situation?
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that people are coming to me. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean...
disconnect sometimes.
Yeah, because you're giving all out about this, and it's like, well, where do I go? You kind of feel isolated in a sense, because they really only have the world to offer.
Yeah.
And you're not looking for the world. It's not what you need. It's not what you desire, right? But, I mean, again, you find these small connections. I think we had, these things called life groups last year that I got involved in, where met every week with just a group of dudes. Started out with just 3 dudes and a pastor.
We both had them.
Yeah.
And by the end.
Yeah. But since I had that so early on last year, it gave me a place where we could talk about things. But most of the time, it wasn't even things I was going through. I think it just gave me this foundation to reset. And I think I learned more about myself in faith and walking in faith and walking in the Spirit by being there and being someone that could help others in that instance.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt. I feel like we are all at different points in our lives when we started having ours. So even just being able to sit there and listen and give that nudge of advice or, like, verse of the day.
I think that stuff like that too, like, also helps me with my reset of being around people like that. Like, the reality is, even if they're Christians here, most of the time it's just a lukewarm Christian, like, that we get intertwined with in baseball teams. At least my baseball team. I was the only baseball player that went to athlete Bible study the whole year.
Yeah.
And that was just the reality. I told them all the time. I would talk to them about Christ. There was, a few that would ask me questions. The funniest thing thinking about now is, the one that would always ask the most questions is the one that would claim to be agnostic. And I could just tell that God was pulling on his heart, and he's very interested, and he wants to know more, and he'd always be asking me questions. But stuff like that, like, I loved it, because I'm just talking about Jesus. I'm talking about his beauty.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it's the same thing with like us though.
Yeah.
Like we had girls that would come to church on Sundays, and then I'd ask them about Bible study on Monday, and it was like, whoa, that's too far.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I can't come to you and ask you for help because you're only getting one word.
Yeah.
You're not reading the word.
Yeah. And I always, even when it comes to Christians I've known, right, I always tell them that you're going to get more out of searching yourself in Christ than you could through me, right? I can help you so much, but there's a reason Christ tells us, seek and you will find.
Sorry, I yawned.
Seek and you will find. He wants us to actively, look for him, because he will tell us his secrets. He wants that, but he's given us this free will, this free desire, so we can make that decision to learn to love him like he loves us, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell them, we're supposed to be that guiding hand to help others.
Right.
We're the salt of the world. That's what we are. But I think,
Preserve.
like my hardest part when it comes to the intertwine is like making sure I don't let myself fall to, even like my hardest thing is like joking. I can get into such bad habits of joking around, poking fun with my teammates. It's an awful habit of mine. And it can go to a place where it's not representing Christ. And
I do that.
I'm a big comedian.
Yeah.
Love making jokes, love all that stuff, laughing, all that. And I can see myself step over that line. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to reset. That's what becomes the biggest struggle for me. And that's why
I think that's where I struggle too. Like when I'm around the people that I know are following Christ, I'm so on that same path. And then when I fall back into gameplay, I'm like, here it is, like I can give it to you. And then at other points, I'm just like,
oh yeah, didn't even think about games. Like when I play games, like or sports, I literally go full competitive mode, and it's like I got to reset myself plenty of times out there. But like, I mean, it became like a joke for me whenever like teammates would be talking about something that I really shouldn't talk about. I shouldn't even think about all these different things, and they would like try and involve me in it, or I'd try to change the conversation, and I would always be like, I would always say the joke. Not even a joke, but you know, Christ died on Friday so he could rise on Sunday. I would say it all the time, and stuff like that. And it's like, it would kind of get the point across to them, like, okay, he's not trying to talk about this, or he's trying to change it, which they understood, And I'm also very understanding with the sense that I know I'm gonna get mocked. I know people are gonna make fun. I already like that. I experienced that my whole life, honestly, and
I'm getting that a lot more now.
I experience it a lot more now. I think the reality is the more I've devoted myself, the more, of course, I'm going to get mocked.
Right.
Like it even happened for an instance today, in a sense. Like I could tell it was a slight mocking. But that's the reality. Like I don't really worry about it. I don't stress about it because, I know it's to come. Like they literally put Christ on a cross, killed him, stuck a spear through his side, and he did nothing wrong. But the view, that's how the world works. And, I know he suffered so much. I know the apostles suffered so much. So like, I can't get mad over a little joke. I can't get mad over it. I might note it in my head, but at the end of the day, like I think last year I had a teammate that made the biggest mock that I've experienced. And then he became someone that I was very close to because I didn't let it fully affect me.
Right.
I learned to, forgive and then, talk to him about it and learn that he wanted to know more, all these different things. So it's like, it's, I think that aspect too, though, as well, like learning to truly walk in faith, like let Christ live through you. It shows them even when they try to attack, try to hurt, try to mock, whatever.
That's definitely
they're like, wait a second, he's not veering off.
Right.
Oh, he doesn't want to argue. Oh, he doesn't want to fight. Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't want to attack back, whatever it may be. It's like, oh, well, he's pretty sturdy in this faith. Like he's actually walking it, he's not just saying one thing and then falling off. And even though I tell them all the time, like that's the big point too for me when it comes to, I think what's helped me lead people to Christ or show people Christ and let Christ work through me is like to that have full humbleness and gentleness when it comes to talking to him about it. Like I struggle, I fail, all these different things. And I tell them that the only reason I'm able to get through it, though, is through Christ. You know, he strengthens me every day. He gives his mercies new every morning. And so, you know, those factors, you know, it helps me kind of stay focused while intertwined in the world. And I think the biggest point always is, like I always say to people, like, if you focus on Christ, it's going to help you in the long run.
Right.
Even no matter what you're doing. If you're just eating lunch with your friends, focus on Christ. Try and think about him. You know, I try and more every day to just stay focused on him. I think back to just a year ago to now, I'm a different Joe, a better Joe, because I've become more focused on him. There's times where, you know, you fall back and you get lost for a sec, but I think the closer and closer I've gotten to Christ, it's like those fallbacks happen quicker in a sense that I recover faster in Christ. You know, I'm able to catch myself, get back on my feet with Christ, and he, you know, he picks me up every time. So it's hard. It can be, especially like as athletes, like these people you view as your sisters. I view my teammates as my brothers. Like, I'm so close to them. I'm with them every day. We're joking, poking, having fun, but it's like I gotta make sure if I'm focused on him, a lot of things, you know, stay on the right path.
Right.
So, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so? All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for joining. Just Chatting with Joe, episode, I think 26. I don't know. Just so you know, it's 26 weeks straight I've done this. So
I came up with the name.
I'm pretty sure that's half of a year straight now. So
No.
52 weeks, by the way, is a year.
It.
52 weeks. But anyways, I love you guys so much, and
Jesus loves you.